Welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. Joining us now is public affairs analyst and a man who understands local politics in Lagos State. He served as a vice chairman of Koshofe local government and as a ranking member of the All Progressives Congress in the state. Today he'll be speaking on the crisis currently rocking the party, even as campaigns intensify towards the 2019 general elections, as well as the CJN's arraignment as a CTC. Welcome to the morning show, Mr. Segun Aka-Bashorun.
Thank you for having me.
Good morning.
Thanks for joining us.
So let's start off with the dramatic APC campaign flag-off, which unfortunately disintegrated into violence. And it's now, we gather, all political rallies have been suspended for now, and the APC is restraining themselves to door-to-door campaigns. How do you think this will impact the campaign at this point?
Oh, it's definitely going to be negative, and of course, we're expecting a lot of reprisals from those who think they lost out, because there's a tough war, and it seems to be out of control, and I don't see the police handling it promptly. So I think it's a good advice to actually suspend those kind of gatherings, those kind of mammoth gatherings. I think, and it was ill-advised to have held that convention or that rally at that venue. And if you listen very well to the former Commissioner of Police, Edgar, before he left, he said they were restrained in the method in which they had to quell the impasse, the violence, because of the location, that they had to be tactical. They had to use this, what you call a soft response, so as not to cause more confusion or mayhem. And it is clear that what you saw was ill-advised, and I'm sure it seems the police were not part of this process. What I mean is this: if you look at my party or Lagos State, the use of the use of the members of the National Union of Road Transport Workers, NURTW, in politics, it's so entrenched. It's amazing. You will recall that these same bands of thugs have followed my party from Lagos to all parts of the Southwest to carry out electioneering campaign. And you'll be surprised, or you shouldn't be surprised to know, that these same villain and victims are sitting members of the security committee of Jide Sanwo-Olu's campaign. Yes, and I'm sure that they don't even have actual policemen in that security committee, and they have this national union in those committees. So they were not just passing by or invaded the premises. That is not true, according to the Commissioner of Police. Nobody came to interrupt a rally. They were highly seated on the high table. They were invited. They were announced as they came in, and they came in majestically. So, and they were seated on a high table when this happened. So we know who they are. They've always been part and parcel of the politics. And this is what you call the dwindling, or when you see a system that we had in Lagos, this godfatherism, where you become a godfather because of the popular support from people. And then you bring in who you may call these wise men, these intellectuals, who will now rally around you because you have popular support. And then eventually, when you think that you are the wisest of the wise men, you now look at your wise men and say, I am the ultimate wise person. Whoever says is wise is wise. So eventually, you see these godfathers will become undependable on these wise men and look forward and say that I have popular support. All I need is to maintain these masses of people. Then they bring in the thugs. And you have all these mini godfathers all over, creating their own fiefdoms in their own locality, all over. So what you see is the winning out of this political, what you call this, the godfather of Lagos politics. And it's so sad that it's now resorting to the use of thuggery to hold cohesion in the party and control in the party. It's not going to last, and it's going to continue. And I think this is the Achilles heels of what you may have.
You nudged me to the removal of Edgar Imohimi, who was a very good man in fighting thuggery and crimes in Lagos State. He's been replaced now with Kayode Egbetokun, someone who was a former CSO to Bola Tinubu. Isn't this rather curious, just weeks to the elections?
Well, it's traditional for CPs, Commissioner of Police, to be replaced for the need to have what you call fairness, so that you will not have this leaning to the ruling party or to the governor, so to speak. So I would not, however, the appointment of the choice of the replacement, of course, is always has political undertone. And if this is, so this is not new, it's part of the political game. And, this flows into the issue of the CJN that we see here, that there's a political undertone, because when it's election time.
Let's go to the debate that happened yesterday, the gubernatorial debate. We saw 4 candidates. What did you make of that debate and the outcome with your candidate? Do you still think that the APC had the chances it had in previous years? The gap seems to have closed. I mean, we saw people talk about great ideas yesterday.
It's interesting you're using the gap seems to be closed, so it's pretty obvious that there was a surprise in this debate than we expected. Naturally, I don't know who, I mean, first and foremost, to address my candidate. My candidate
of your party.
Of my party. He's not my candidate because I never chose him. I was not part of the process that brought about Sanwo-Olu. I'm against that process, and I'm challenging his representing my party, Sanwo-Olu. However, I didn't expect any new from Sanwo-Olu. As a matter of fact, there was no need for Sanwo-Olu, maybe ceremonially, to speak in the debate, but we know what Sanwo-Olu was going to say, because he already had a master plan from his godfather. So Lagos has a master plan, so to speak, so we can understand, looking at what Ambode is doing and what he has failed to do, we can guess what the master plan or whatever Sanwo-Olu was going to say was pretty obvious. Now, for Jimmy Agbaje, I expected more fire from him. I think it was, I love Jimmy, I'll be honest here. However, I expected more fire from him. However, what surprised me was Badamosi. He came out smoking, and for the fact that he's now a new third wheel, and being the unexpected, I think is going to be gaining from both the APC and the PDP. For those who never took him seriously before, even I've spoken to him personally because he had spoken to me about the fact that we need to rescue Lagos, and of course, I was not interested in changing parties. However, having listened to him over the debate, I was pretty impressed. And I think he was a winner. And for a newcomer and for somebody new, for Lagos is yearning for a divine shift. And I don't know, I think from tomorrow onwards, or from after the debate, I think many people are going to take him seriously, and he's going to have more following. I think Lagosians should expect a surprise from Badamosi.
Well, the gubernatorial debate centered on 6 aspects, namely the 100 days target, the traffic situation in Lagos State, education, health, tax collection, and the
ICT.
internally generated revenue. How do you think the APC candidate, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, performed in all of these?
Well, I've told you, I think he came third as far as I was concerned, because he's repeating the same sound bites we've had for many years. Everything Ambode, I can say, I think the best of what we saw was during the time of Babatunde Raji Fashola. When he spoke with conviction. You can sense that this was his own master plan that he was actually propagating. For Sanwo-Olu, I think is repeating is as if somebody was crammed for an exam, who is now reading out what his memory calls.
It's arguable because
well, it's arguable, but for me,
there was a scorecard.
Oh yeah, well, there was a scorecard for me.
4 candidates were scored,
Believe
and
me.
he led on those scores. He tied on some scores.
Personally, he came third to me. To me, he came third because I expected far more better from him than anybody else. And I mean, if you see the resume he reeled out, and I expected far more understanding, but I must say, as far as I was concerned, performed far better than Babajide Sanwo-Olu. It did.
Maybe because you were not expecting him to
well, it was a surprise.
correctly.
Definitely, it was a surprise, and that really, but I was moved that he was prepared. He knew, and he showed the conviction of what he was talking about. And it's not just it was the way he delivered what he was saying. He showed he was ready for a fight. We need a fighter, and we need people to look each other in the eye and say, we're not going to go into the room smiling, even if we're brothers. We're going to go in there, we're going to tell each other the truth and come out, if need be, in tears and in blood, but at least we'll be able to achieve the reason why we had that discussion. And so this is what I saw in Badamasi that really surprised me, and that's what I wanted in Agbaje, because I knew he had that capacity. And people had expected that this time around is going to. I wanted to come out with a new spawn to show that yes, this is the time to because it was pretty close, and this is so the chances for him is pretty better, much better than anybody else. So, but Badamasi came in from nowhere and just blew everybody away.
If I didn't know better, I'll say you're not an APC member.
Oh, I am. I'm fully. You see, it's never to do with. One of the problems here is, like Olusegun SAN just said earlier, the disappointment about Professor Sage. I know Professor Sage so well. Of course, I know Agbakoba so well. And I've had issues with Professor Sage that I had to send him a text message personally when it came to local governance. What he said about local governance, I was so surprised. But you see, it doesn't mean that because we're a member of a party, we have to support everything our party does. It's because people are not advising the president or the party properly. That is why they are making these erroneous, really inexcusable mistakes that makes no sense. It's so hard for anybody to come to defend. And so if you see a Prof. Sage coming publicly and saying that what has happened ought to have happened the way it happened, it's surprising. And it's all because of this party loyalty. And we have to fight that. So that is what I represent. I'm fighting the fact that I should be loyal to my party rather than loyal to Nigerians. So I am consistent with being loyal to Nigerians rather than APC. That's why you feel.
And just quickly before we have to go, you've addressed the delivery of each of those debaters, and that Babajide Sanwo-Olu was muted, as Donald Trump would say, he exuded low energy. Exactly. But what about the substance of what they all had to say? Even the dark horse, Badamasi, his style was extremely confident and assertive. What about the substance? Oh yeah,
the moderator, wonderful, very impressive. The moderator said it all, that all of them have done a good job. They have vision. It's the promises is talk the talk and walk the walk. That's what we expected. So it's easier said than done. That's why I said I look for the conviction that it's not something that you have crammed and you are now, reeling out. I want to sense that this is what you believe in. This is what you actually live for. And that's why I said, but I mustn't won this debate, because I felt that he believed, he showed that, and that's the difference. That Sanwo-Olu did not show me anything surprising. I was not surprised. There's nothing new in what he said.
Well, we're going to have to leave it there. Segun Aka-Bashorun, Public Affairs Analyst, and I must add, APC member.
Oh, yes. Absolutely.
Thank you for joining us on the morning show.
Thank you for having me.
Well, it's time now for a short break on the morning show. When we return, we'll have the Arise News analyst, Emmanuel Efeni. He will join us with a review of the top stories of today's newspapers. Do stay with us.